Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Avcci, your host, and welcoming you episode 207. We are in season 7 in the American Business Podcast. Quote of today. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of today. To feel valued, to know even if only once in a while that you can do a job well is an absolutely marvelous feeling. Well, as you know, about 2 months ago, we started America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, also known as AVCCI, powered by the American Business Podcast. AVCCI is America's first virtual chamber of commerce and industry that is supported and powered by a successful media channel that is the American Business Podcast. Education, networking, and media coverage, media visibility and publicity, these are important parts of AVCCI community. Join us. Please go to avcci.us website and learn about America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI. At AVCCI, we are inclusive. We are inviting companies from solo entrepreneurs to Fortune 500 companies. It is because there is something for everyone at AVCCI, for education and for building business relationships. For example, we have more than 10 different business communities, also known as committees at AVCCI. Women in Business Committee, Business Development Committee, Manufacturing Committee, Nonprofit Committee, as well as Health and Wellness Committee, International Trade Committee, and more. We also have Business Book Club that is very popular. We have Jim and Steve, our co-chairs. They are leading our group, and we review business books every month. We invite published authors to AVCCI Business Book Club, and we interview them. We learn from them. That's a great group, and I hope you join us. In addition, we have Public Speakers Club at AVCCI. We are encouraging professionals to improve the skill of public speech, which is hard and very important. We are promoting AVCCI members who are public speakers at AVCCI Business Book Club, and we also talk about best practices of public speaking as well at AVCCI Business Book Club. Please go to avcci.us and learn about AVCCI. Also go to the events section on the website and you can learn about coming events. Remember, committee meetings are complimentary. You can sign up and join us at no charge. Every single committee and business community meeting is recorded and pushed to the American Business Podcast for maximum visibility, publicity, and media coverage purposes. Thank you for your support. Now I'd like to invite our guest to our stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Dean. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Thank you. Good to be here and good to be back.
Welcome back. Yes. It's been a while. How have you been? How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. Everything is good. Very busy, of course, in this particularly global time. So I'm excited to talk about global issues.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And some of our viewers may remember, actually, I had the pleasure of having you in the American Business Podcast before. We had a great conversation. And in the first episode that we had together, we mostly focus on your career journey as well as your background. Today, let's start with introductions because some of our viewers may be meeting you first time. And then I love us to dive some practical information, some practical knowledge from your experience, if that's all right. If that's okay, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our viewers and listeners, especially for those who haven't met you yet?
Yes, of course. Well, my company is deanfosterglobal.com, and what I do is I'm a cultural consultant. not just a consultant for businesses working in other countries, but we focus mainly on on understanding the culture of the country that you're going to be working in. So if you want to work in China, and I know we'll talk later about China because you and I discussed that, let's talk about China. It's a big market, and we have a lot of listeners and viewers who are probably interested in doing business in China. And if you're working in China or any country, you have to understand the culture of the country in order to be successful. So that has been the nature of my work. Me and my company go in and we help organizations understand how the culture affects their success when they work in the country. So we're not so concerned about getting all the paperwork ready and getting all the legal documents in place, but we are very concerned about making sure you understand the culture so that you know how to negotiate, you know how to run meetings, you know what's expected of you when you're invited to a dinner, all of the cultural issues that can affect success in business. And that's what we come in and consult upon.
Well, I know you also are a published author. Can you tell us about your book as well?
Yes, my latest book is Business Beyond Borders, and there it is, right over my right shoulder. And it's a storybook. It is a book of stories about the things that have happened to me in over 100 countries around the world. So it's called Stories, Tales, and Lessons Learned Working in 100 cultures around the world. For 35 years, that's been my work, and I have a lot of stories to tell.
This is amazing. Amazing. You are talking about 100 countries. I mean, this is a lot. How many countries are there in the world? 195, 96?
It depends on, on how you count.
How you
Uh,
count it? Okay.
there's about 10 that some would agree with and some would not.
Got it.
That's usually the cause of a lot of friction. But I haven't been to most, though. That's very interesting because we've got about 180 plus. So yeah, I still have about 80 of them to go.
Amazing. Amazing. World actually is really, really big when we think about it. There's a lot of things to learn about, practice, and
That's right.
observe. This is amazing. It's amazing.
That's right. And
Uh,
if
pa-
there's if there's one thing I've learned, it's that people's needs are the same everywhere. But how we address those needs, how we try to fulfill those needs can be very, very different. And that's based on our culture.
It is funny. When I was speaking to you in the previous episode, I felt the same thing. I'm feeling the same thing when I'm talking to you. So whenever I speak to you, I feel like um, uh, there is actually a lot to learn about the world and the cultures, and it's really eye-opening. Whenever I speak to you, this is actually pretty inspiring. So I'm glad we are having this episode together.
Right, me too. And I think today we decided let's talk about China and India. What do we need to
Yes,
know about the
yes, these
culture?
are correct. These are the big markets. Large population, right? Billions together,
Right.
and large economies, and they are growing and they are producing and prospering. So, which one would you like to start first, India or China?
Well, I would like to probably start by saying that both of them, like we can say about almost all cultures, share certain similarities, but they are also very, very different. And just because they are both in Asia, if you're doing business or thinking about doing business in either of these countries, you've got to realize that they can be very different, even though they are both in Asia. And absolutely, if you're working today, if you're doing business today, you will be working in one way or another with China and with India, whether you know it or not. It will happen. Huge markets. China is the second largest economy in the world, and India, of course, is the largest population in the world. So you have the largest market of consumers, and you have the largest economic opportunities in both of these countries. You will be working there, so get ready and understand the cultures.
Yes, yes. Very important. Very important. Okay, well, let's get started with India. What would you like to tell us about India, doing business with India, the culture in India, and
Yeah.
engaging there?
Well, I think it's very important to begin by understanding that just because your Indian colleagues are using English doesn't mean that they're thinking in the same way as you do. And although English makes you feel like they are very similar, there are many things about Indian culture that are distinctly different from, let's say, US culture and Western culture. And it was important for me when I wrote my book to start the book with the very first chapter on highlighting one of those key differences. And I tell the story in my book about the time that I was in South India, and I was in Pondicherry, which is a city in the south of India along the Arabian Sea, and it was a colony of the French. So here we have a city that um, sounds and looks kind of Western because of the French influence. And many of the people, like is the case all over India, are speaking English and French and not just Hindi or the local language of South India. So it's easy to think that you're dealing with people who are similar in the way that they think and do business. But one of the things I learned when I went into breakfast one morning in the hotel that I was staying at was that even the menu had Western items on the menu. So I ordered a croissant, and I waited and waited and waited, and the croissant did not come out. And when it finally did come out, I thought maybe I would like some jam and jelly on the croissant. Because the last time I was in Paris and had a croissant, I was able to get jam and jelly on it. So here I am, we're eating another croissant. Why not ask for jam and jelly? And I asked for it, and he said, "Of course, sir," and then disappeared. And I had to wait another 10 minutes. And I asked him for the jam and jelly again. And he said, "Absolutely, yes, no problem." But it never, ever came. Never came. And my wife was with me, and she said, "You're never going to get the jam and jelly because it doesn't exist." And I knew that. And the question was, then why doesn't he just tell me that? Why doesn't he just say we don't have jam and jelly? But this is one of the very important issues in India, because Indian culture is based on extreme hierarchies. And this goes back for thousands of years. If you think of the influence of the Hindu religion in India, there are hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of different gods, and each one has a different role to play, and each one is responsible to the other one in very specific ways. Indian business organizations are similar. The role that you play is directly related to your rank and status in the Indian organization. And your job is to look good in the eyes of your boss and to never say things that are going to make a problem for him. And when I was trying to order my croissant in India and asked for jam and jelly, I was really asking the waiter to do something that he could not do. And it would look very, very bad if he said to me, "I cannot do this." So he didn't say that. He just said, "I'll try. I'll be back in a few minutes." Yes, of course, but it never ever came. And this sounds like a simple little example of one of the challenges that you'll have in India, but it is profound, and it is has a major effect on how you do business. I chose when I wrote the book to start with a simple little story like that had nothing to do with business, because I think that culture is everywhere, and you'll even see it at the dining table when you try to order a croissant with jelly in India. but it has a profound effect even in business. If you ask your Indian colleague if he needs anything, he'll probably, or if there are any problems, he'll probably tell you no problems and everything is going well. But if you ask things like, well, can I get the document by Tuesday? He'll say, yes, of course, sir, but it may never come. And so you have to then have strategies for managing this in India. Are they intentionally being untrue? No. They are trying to do the best they can for you. But if they have a problem, you won't know about it. So you have to have a strategy for managing this, particularly if you're in the States and your colleagues are in India. And one of the strategies is to always have somebody in India who can tell you what is really going on. You need multiple sources of information. Do not just rely on what Raj says, because Raj may want, with the best of intentions, may be trying to tell you the truth, but he can't tell you if things are bad. So you need to speak with somebody else who can tell you that Raj has a problem and that you have to come in and solve it. And this is a major challenge in just getting communications going between US Americans and Indians in India.
It's fascinating. Fascinating. And there are a lot of companies doing business in India. And I was thinking when you were mentioning that, and many of them, they have people in India, just like a liaison, just keeping the bridge between two markets, two different locations in a way, operationally. So how
That's
important
right.
it is. How important, yes.
Right. Back in I think it was in the late 80s, so this goes back quite some time, an example of how this could really affect business happened. There was a US company based in India. They were a chemical manufacturing company, and they were producing some chemicals. There was a major explosion in the factory in India, and thousands of people were injured and hundreds of people were killed. And in the court case that followed, over and over again, it became clear that there was a fundamental misunderstanding about the roles of the managers in India. The Indian managers were waiting for the US managers to tell them what to do about a problem in the plant. And the US managers didn't know that there was a problem, because every time they asked if there was a problem, the answer was, no, sir, everything is fine. And the expectation of the US manager was that they will be told by their subordinates what they need. But the expectation in India is that if you're the manager, you'll tell me what to do. And that fundamental misunderstanding was one of the key reasons for the catastrophe that happened in I think it was in Bhopal. So this issue is a serious issue of miscommunications and needs to be managed by anybody who's working in India. You must have multiple sources of information so that you can confirm that what you know to be the case on the ground in India is in fact what is happening.
And when we think about India, there are a lot of manufacturing going on, a lot of trade, there is technology, that they are pretty good at software technologies, for example. So a lot of trade and activities between India and other countries, US and
Right.
others.
Massive
And
amounts.
this is applicable. Mhm. Yeah, and what you just mentioned is applicable to any industry. Am I right, in terms of managing operations?
Correct. I mean, in any industry, there's management issues, and in global industries, global business, there'll be managers in the US, there'll be managers on site in India, and every day there'll be virtual communications between them. And you must be sure that you understand what is really going on there, because the manager in India is looking to look good in your eyes.
Mhm.
And rather than bring bad news, you might not hear anything at all. And so you have to confirm what's really happening there. One of the ways is to have another person, several other people, who will also tell you what's going on. And then you put the picture together, and then you get a full picture of what's happening. It's important also, I think, to understand when we talk about countries like China and India, these are vast countries, huge geographically and huge in population. And they're not one homogeneous market. So, what we say about what happens in Pondicherry in South India could be a little bit different than what happens in Delhi in North India, or in Mumbai, or in Central India. And one of the reasons is because although India is a federal republic, so there are federal rules about how things are supposed to be done throughout the country, every state in India is very powerful, and often very powerful against the federal government. The history in India is that the states and the federal government have always been in conflict with each other. And if you're doing business in a particular state in India, you have to build relationships with the local authorities first, before worrying about what happens in the capital in Delhi. And I would say that that's a very similar scenario in China. China is a vast market and a vast country. And although Beijing is the capital, and most of your paperwork will have to go through Beijing, and Beijing has the ultimate authority, just like in India, Delhi has the ultimate authority. The first order of business is to be sure that you have good working relationships with the local authorities. So if you are in Shanghai, or if you are in the south in Guangzhou, you have to be sure that you have good relationships and very tight connections with the local authorities, who are often in conflict with their bosses in Beijing. And what they are often needing to do is look good for their Beijing boss. And if it means not necessarily doing what they want, what Beijing wants you to do, but doing what you need to do for your counterpart in Shanghai, then you have to take care of the man in Shanghai before worrying about the man in Beijing.
Yes, this is fascinating. Well, let's talk about doing business with China a little bit more, if that's okay.
Sure.
So that is a large country with more than a billion population, a lot of manufacturing going on, a lot of manufacturing of all kinds,
Right.
as we know it.
Right.
So doing business there in China, what one should be careful about, pay attention to in China
Yeah.
doing business there.
Yeah.
This is Tommy DeMiso, one of the partners of Vanguard Benefits. I'm excited to be a new member of the AVCCI. And it's an organization really that I can tell already from being connected to it, that has reach nationally and across many different verticals in business. So I'm excited to be a part of that. So really quick, what I do, one of the partners, as I say, at Vanguard Benefits, and we're an employee benefits agency. We're laser focused on that employee benefits experience. So that means we work with employer groups as they look to create strategic employee benefit solutions. We look to come in and try to help them stabilize their costs around their benefits. And a lot of what we deal with is when folks are looking to attract or retain talent. So that's where we live. We also work to help businesses and nonprofit organizations find ways to really stay compliant around their employee benefits and offset a lot of the burden of implementing an employee benefits plan. So what I like to say is, I was just with a client yesterday, and I like to say we become the outsourced benefits management team for our clients. So our largest client has about 800 employees, and our smallest client has 2 employees. And really where we make the biggest impact is from about 50 to 300 employees. That's where we find that we're really well situated to work with those types of groups. We work with the leadership team, and then we do one-on-one education as appropriate for our clients. So really, we know how expensive benefits can be, and it often is a very personal conversation as it relates to somebody's family and their budget. So we make sure that we're always available to educate. And then we give that one-on-one service through my operations and client service team throughout the year. So I'm always looking forward to meeting with different employer groups, some different strategic partners. For my entire career, I've worked with different CPAs and accountants and other trusted advisors. So happy to be a member of AVCCI, and I look forward to connecting with everybody. And let's reach out. Let's make a new relationship. Take it easy. Thanks.
Yeah, proprietary information. In other words, protecting what is yours and making sure that the Chinese understand that they cannot copy and claim authority over information and over processes, procedures, any kind of proprietary information, because, and again, this is in the past, it's often been done with the best of intentions. But the culture in China goes back 5,000 years. And only until the last 100 years, and even there, only until the last 30 years, has China had to adapt its 5,000-year-old culture to the requirements of the modern world and modern global business. And China understands what modern global business is about. But on a day-to-day basis, working with people who have to perform and do certain things day to day, you're working with many, many people who don't understand modern business practices, many individuals who do not. And one of the traditions in China, the cultural traditions in China, is basically to replicate and to copy the good works that have been done by others. Because after all, if somebody's done something successfully, then you want to copy that success. If the teacher teaches you how to do something, then you do it right and it's successful, then that's the method to use. Now, of course, that's been the way of things in a more innocent time. And we know that in modern business, you have to protect what is yours. And if you have a process or a procedure, manufacturing or otherwise, that is successful, one of the dangers in working in China is that your Chinese colleagues will take that process and claim it for themselves and probably do it faster and better than you ever could because they're based in China. And one of the successful methods of getting anything done in China is to replicate it and to duplicate it over and over and over again. And so there's a history and a cultural tradition of excelling at this skill of duplicating and duplicating what is already successful. So you can walk down the street in Shanghai and see thousands of people selling knockoffs of Gucci bags and with big logos of Gucci. And of course, they've never bought the rights to do this. But there is this cultural tradition of excelling at copying. And so you've got to protect very carefully what is yours. And historically in China, they will ask for the processes and the procedures and the intellectual proprietary rights in order to then go off and do them on their own. And so this is a very serious issue in China. How do you do this now? How do you protect yourself? There are laws, of course. There are regulations in China which prohibit this kind of work. But taking something to a Chinese court is not what you want to do, because the court system is basically dependent upon the autocratic authority of the people in charge in Beijing. And so getting redress from the Chinese courts is not the way to solve the problem. Ultimately, the way to solve the problem is to never have it. And that means to build a close working relationship with the authorities and your counterparts in the local city that you'll be operating, so that they feel that they can get things that they need from you, and that they can depend on you, and that you can depend on them to do things the right way for you. This is an ancient Chinese way of doing business based on what the Chinese call guanxi. And guanxi means, if you do something for me, I will do something for you. If you protect me, I will protect you. And I will go out of my way to do the right thing by you if I know that you are taking care of me. And so building this kind of a guanxi-based relationship is the first order of business, so that you don't ever get in a situation where they are just taking advantage of you and taking advantage of your proprietary information. This means you are going into China with a very long-term perspective. It's not about getting the first deal done. It's not about going in there and being successful and coming out. It's about building relationships with local authorities who feel that you will protect them so that they will protect you. And that takes a big picture. So don't go into China expecting big success at first. It will happen over time.
In the case of India, you mentioned that even they speak English, there is that cultural impact, that how they actually act, behave, even though we understand what they are saying in English, maybe meaning something else, or they may do some other things because of the cultural background. So in the case of China, there is also the language barrier, right? I mean, they don't speak English naturally; they speak Chinese.
Right.
So going into the market also, requires you have people around you speaking English and Chinese well, so they can really help you with the communication.
Right. Well, many years ago when I first started doing business in China, we're going back to the early 90s. Shanghai, of course, was the major business center and still is. And you can stand on the river in Shanghai and you can look across the river, as I did, and you look at, there was just farmland and nobody spoke English. And you'd walk along the riverbank, and local Chinese would come up to me and they would say, speak English, because they wanted to practice their English with me. But very few people spoke any English. And my Mandarin was almost non-existent. So we would have these very, very basic conversations. And it was very pleasant, but nobody really understood each other. The good news is that today, 35 years later, all the children of these people have been going to school, and in school in China, they learn their third language, not their second, their third language. The first language in China is the language of the family. It's the local language. So in Shanghai, it's Shanghainese. In the south, it's Hainanese or Cantonese. In the north, it might be Beijing. These are different languages. There may be some connections with the words, but many times people in the north do not understand people in the south because they're speaking a completely different language. And so back in the imperial days, there was the development in China of one language called Mandarin. And so Mandarin was taught in all of the schools across all of China, so that all Chinese people would have some language that they could communicate with each other in. And so people grow up in China learning their local language first, and then when they go to school, they learn Mandarin, which is also the local language of the North in Beijing. And then they also learn English. So 35 years later, the children of the people that I met on the Bund, on the riverbank in Shanghai, those children are speaking English well enough to communicate with me and other English speakers. But the English that they learn in school is written and reading English. It is not speaking English. So they often are very shy to use English, especially in business circumstances. And therefore, it's very important if you're doing business in China today, when you speak to people, speak to the younger people, because they're the ones who have learned English in school, but also have interpreters and translators. And when you get an interpreter or translator, don't rely on the interpreter or the translator that the Chinese provide for you. Get your own, because if they're paying a translator, that translator is telling you what they want you to know, not what may really be the case.
Good point.
So if you have your own translator and you're paying the translator, they will tell you what the Chinese really are thinking, and also give you some guidance as how to deal with that. So yes, they are speaking more English, but it is still a foreign language, and it is the third language that they have learned. It's not even their second. Now, in India, we're a little bit, English speakers are a little luckier because the Indian experience included the British, and the British came to India and colonized India and made it a British colony for over 100 years, almost 200 years. And so the familiarity with English is much greater in India than in China. But in China, it's going to be a much bigger problem. Yes.
Yes, these are amazing insights. Amazing insights. And considering these big countries, India and China, large markets, going in there is an important step for any company, regardless of their size. And just like you mentioned, because you are getting into those large markets, don't expect quick win. Just there for long term. Go there for long term. Build relationships.
Absolutely. In China, the need for a guanxi-based relationship with a local person who feels that they can trust you and therefore they will take care of you is absolutely critical. And in India, it is critical as well, but for a different reason. It's to be sure that you are getting all the information that you need to know what's really going on. And in both cases, this requires a long-term perspective. And so the very first thing you should do in either country is have a local person, find a local person, find somebody who can recommend a local person who is there for you with your interests in mind, who can build long-term relationships and represent you to the authorities in the best possible way.
Well, so India and China, these are just two countries. So from your book, there are 98 countries more to go.
Yeah.
So it's a must read book. I mean, that's amazing. And we're just talking about just two countries, which are huge countries and very important economically and industrially. But then world is still too big, right? So that's amazing. Let's talk about your service a little bit. I mean, these are great insights. I'm sure our viewers, our listeners and viewers, they really appreciate these insights. But I'd like them to also learn more about your service. You're working with companies. You are offering service to organizations. What type of companies, organizations do you work? What size? What industries that do you work? And who should give you a call? What type of company should give you a call when they are doing business internationally with certain countries? If you can share some insights for our audience to learn, that'd be great.
Sure, Kevin. You know, when we first started doing this work about 35 years ago, we really had to rely solely on those big global companies in both the US and in other parts of the world that were already doing business in other parts of the world because they understood the importance of knowing about the culture. So we worked with Fortune 500 companies mainly who already had operations in different countries or who were thinking about starting operations in other countries as well. Because they had the awareness, they knew the importance of this, and they needed to have this information. So if they were thinking about going into China, how do I negotiate with the Chinese? What can I expect? When they invite me to a Chinese banquet, how do I behave? What kind of gifts do I bring to people? What should I do if they do X, Y, Z? And so we were doing this mainly with large global companies. But today, if you start a business right out of your garage or your basement, you are already having to do business with large global companies. So even though you may never have done business anywhere in the world, you're probably going to source information and materials in other countries. You're probably looking to sell and market virtually in other countries. So even small startups need this information today. And in fact, about 50% of the clients that we work with now are small operations, small startups, because you're instantly global. And instantly global is what your company is, whether you know it or not. And so
Yes,
getting this
yes.
information is absolutely critical for everybody.
And how times are changing when we think about these. Like before, it was mostly for Fortune 500 companies. Times were different. Now with technology, with software, as well as the world is more connected. Now it's easier to access the rest of the world, but still there are cultural impacts, aspects that we need to think about when doing business. And just like you mentioned, so even startups right now can start doing business globally, even if you like to sell something, let's say e-commerce, right? So you need to go get it produced, manufactured, and bring it. So how it's gonna be? Then you need to go there, build relationships, perform negotiations, right? So all these important part of doing business in a way.
Absolutely essential. That's right. If you have a website, you're global and you're
That's
selling
true.
around the world.
That's true. That's true. This is amazing. Yes, and I'm glad that you also mentioned small and mid-sized companies as well. The reason I'm saying now we have America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. That's a virtual chamber of commerce and industry powered by the American Business Podcast. And we have a lot of small and mid-sized businesses following us as part of us. As a matter of fact, we have a business community, international business and trade committee, as we call it. And I'd love to invite you to our committee as well if you'd like to make a presentation and talk about doing business in different countries to businesses. This is
That
very,
would
very
be,
educational.
yeah, that would be lovely. I think I think this information is essential, and if they see it that way, that's a lovely thing to do. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. My pleasure. After these, I'll definitely make introductions to our co-chair at the committee. This is great. Well, for those who like to be in touch with you, those organizations, small mid-sized organizations for Fortune 500 companies, like to do business in different parts of the world. So you have a published book covering 100 different countries. What is the best way that they can get in touch with you and start the conversation with you?
Right. Well, we can provide this information in many different ways, virtually, with webinars. We can do it through materials and information. You can get a lot of this information just by going to my website, which is deanfosterglobal.com. And you can start looking up this information there, and you can be in touch with me. My email is in there. You can order the books. Certainly, my recent book, Business Beyond Borders, is available on Amazon. Just put my name in, put the title of the book in, and you can order the book. And my previous books are also available on Amazon. My very first book was Bargaining Across Borders, about how you have to negotiate in different ways based on the culture of the country that you're negotiating in. So some cultures have a win-win approach to negotiating. Other cultures have a win-lose approach to negotiating. And it's very important to understand that difference.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's in my first book, and bargain and Business Beyond Borders, of course, is my most recent book.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, we love, publish books, publish authors. I always say it. I see publishing a book as a generosity because you share your insights. That's your professional wisdom, and you spell it out. You create the book. It's a lot of work, and also shows also your generosity intellectually and professionally. So I always appreciate this. This is great. And also at AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we also have a published book club, and we have a great business book club there. Yeah, this is actually became pretty popular, and we have great co-chairs, and Jim and Steve. Jim is based on Long Island. Steve is based in Kansas City, and they organize monthly business book reviews. We invite published authors. So I'll make sure to make those introductions as well. That would be great. I mean, these are great conversations.
That'd be great. I would love to be part of a guest, perhaps, and speak
Absolutely.
about the book. Right.
Absolutely, that'd be great. I love this conversation, Dean. Just like the first time, this is also great. But as I said, whenever I speak to you, I feel like I'm just broadening my horizon and just thinking world really like global. Really, like you really, help understand. This is really great. I truly appreciate this, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing your professional insights and wisdom with us in the American Business Podcast.
Thank you. Perhaps next time we can look at a different culture.
Yes, I welcome it. And please stay online, and we'll continue this conversation with regards to our committees.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Hello, my name is Eugene Rodriguez, founding member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, otherwise known as AVCCI. You can join us or visit our website at www.avcci.us. Again, my name is Eugene Rodriguez, and I'm a business relationship manager with Chase Bank. I work on the acquisition side and assist customers with anything from cash management to financing to basic banking needs if necessary. I'm looking for any business owner that wants a better relationship with their banking institution. If you happen to know anybody, or if that happens to be you, feel free to contact me and/or come to the website and send me a message. Thank you so much, and I look forward to meeting you.
Hi, I'm Jolie Leidner, and I'm a founding member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I'm also the co-chair of the Human Resources and Workforce Development Committee. And we at that committee will guide you with everything educational for HR and recruiting, as I own Jobs by Jolie, a staffing company. And we're here for all your staffing needs, where we staff every industry with a personal touch, and we do temporary, permanent, and temp to perm staffing, and we do it across the country. So I could be reached at 516-521-7602 or Jolie at jobsbyjolie.com. Hope to hear from you. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Timothy Reiter. I'm a CPA and tax director at MGO LLP. I'm also a proud member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI for short, and I'm very happy to be at the beginning stages of this movement, which I know is going to be a great success in the future. At MGO LLP, we perform auditing and accounting services, tax services, and consulting services. We serve public companies, private companies, high net worth individuals, and governmental agencies. We serve many different industries, some of them being entertainment, sports and media, technology, manufacturing, distribution, real estate. At MGO, I'm a generalist in the tax area, which means I get involved in many different things: C corporations, partnerships, S corporations, high net worth individuals. But in the tax space, we also have specialists that get involved in research and development credits and other credits as well as other incentives, state and local tax, international tax, tax controversy. And our accounting and auditing department is always looking to make your company financially healthy or even more financially healthy than it is now, and give any advice that they can, and perform audits. And on the consulting side, we get involved in cybersecurity, fraud and litigation risk, and merger and acquisition on the sell side. Again, I'm always looking to save and defer taxes for my clients in any way that I can. And if it's an area that I don't deal with, that our firm handles, that I can always refer you to someone else if I can't handle it personally. But please feel free to reach out to me. The website is mgocpa.com if you want to learn more. And thank you so much for your time.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode 207. Well, I like it very much. As I always say, there is always something new to learn in the American Business Podcast. And today we focus on international trade and, to be more precise, doing business with India and doing business with China. And I had a great guest today and shared a lot of professional insights and knowledge with us. That was great. I hope you enjoyed it. And what do you think about global business? How is your experience internationally? Please put your thoughts, your comments in the chat box. Share your thoughts. We love to hear from you. Please join the conversation and we'll truly appreciate it. Also, please join AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI, powered by the American Business Podcast. AVCCI is America's first virtual chamber of commerce and industry that's powered by a powerful media channel, the American Business Podcast. Publicity, media coverage, business networking, business relationship building, and education. These are important parts of AVCCI membership and AVCCI community. Please go to avcci.us, learn more about AVCCI, and go to our events section on the website. See our coming events and join us. Sign up for coming committee and community group meetings. Committee meetings at AVCCI are complimentary, no charge. You can join us, network with us, meet with other business professionals. Also, educate yourself. It is because committee meetings and business community meetings at AVCCI are educational. So that's a great opportunity. Thank you for your support. We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adam Dicker, and the first thing I want to say is how excited I am to be part of the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry community. I'm also going to be a coach in the Biz Dev and Sales and Marketing Committee, and I'm really looking forward to that and meeting all of you there. To all the entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals here, it's a pleasure to connect with you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the former executive vice president at GoDaddy, where I spent years helping businesses grow their online presence and succeed digitally. Today, I work with companies to help them generate more leads, improve website conversions, and use AI and automation to grow smarter and more efficiently. One thing I've seen over the years is companies spend heavily on paid advertising and they don't take advantage or optimize the existing traffic or website that they have. You should be getting most of your traffic and leads and opportunities from your website, about 70 to 80%. In reality, your website should be the best salesperson working 24/7 to convert visitors into customers. That's where I come in. I help optimize your websites, improve organic traffic performance, implement those tricky AI tools and with automation, and build systems that reduce dependency on expensive ad platforms like Google and LinkedIn, while increasing your lead generation and customer engagement. My goal is simple: help businesses sustain their growth, increase conversions, and make your marketing work harder. So if you're part of the network and looking for ways to generate more qualified leads, improve your online presence, optimize your website, or leverage AI in your business strategy, I'd love to connect and learn more about what you do. Thank you again for this opportunity to introduce myself, and I look forward to meeting you all shortly.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Beck. I'm the sales manager at Preferred Events, and I'm a proud member of the Americans Virtual Chamber of Commerce, and I'm excited to be here. At Preferred Events, we are the preferred choice for your event rentals throughout the New York metropolitan area and beyond. Whether you're planning a corporate event, a charity walk or run, a fundraiser or gala, a festival, school event, or private celebration, we provide the rentals and the support needed to bring your event to life. Our inventory includes tents, chairs, linens, staging, flooring, fencing, structures, tables, and so much more. What truly sets us apart is the commitment to customer service and helping our clients create successful and memorable events. We work with corporations, nonprofits, schools, municipalities, and event professionals, and we love the opportunity to learn more about your upcoming events and what you're looking to do. If you're planning an event and need a reliable rental partner, please reach out. I look forward to connecting with fellow AVCCI members and finding ways we can support one another's success. Thank you for watching, and I hope to meet you soon.
I'm Mel Blackwell, the president of Blackwell Media Group, and I'm a proud member of the AVCCI. Joined recently and very, very supportive and excited about that. As president of Blackwell Media Group, basically, I'm a retired corporate fixer. For 35 years, I've worked in global companies, domestic U.S. companies, to help boards and C-level teams try to figure out how to solve complex business riddles. In doing that, I actually decided to hang up my cleats because 35 years is a long time. I deployed behind enemy lines. I did not go in as a consultant. I took a full-time role because I loved working with the teams. I loved building the teams, and I liked the smell of napalm, And so I worked in those different stints for 2 to 6 years, and in kind of graduating from that world now, I do keynote speaking at major conferences, at annual retreats for corporate teams, and kind of a hybrid of coming in to speak to a large crowd or even a small room, and then rolling up my sleeves and coaching and helping a team solve a specific complex riddle. In doing all of that, what I realized, I wrote a book called Uncommon Sense: How to Fix Your Workplace Culture in the Wild West of Business. In doing all that, I realized, reflecting back, for about a year, I wrote the book that I've been working on for 20 years. And when I finally said, all right, I'm going to write this thing, I realized almost everything I did was culture. And so I am somewhat of a culture architect. I've had a reputation of being very plain spoken. What you see is what you get. Funny. I like to have fun, but pretty serious. And I can do some really complex, brutal stuff, whatever it takes to protect the culture and the good people. And so that's what I do now. I do the speaking and I work with people. Don't even be embarrassed. It's like, Mel, we have this really complex riddle we're beriddled by it. I'll come in, roll up my sleeves, and we'll slay that thing. So that's what I do, and I'm looking forward to it. And I highly recommend everybody support Kevin and the AVCCI.
Hi, I'm Stacy Simbrom. I am a member of the AVCCI. I am also one of the leads of the Women in Business Committee and the Health and Wellness Committee. I run a company called Reflection Project. I am a coach. I am an integrative wellness coach. And what that means is I work with individuals who want to optimize their lives. do better with their wellness, do better in their relationships, and feel better about themselves and the world that they live in. I take an integrated approach, which helps you to learn how to leverage your three centers of intelligence, which is your brain, your logic, your emotions, and your body, which is your intuition. I bring several different modalities into this work. I've been doing this work for about 15 years now, and I would look forward to working with you and collaborating with you in this space. If this sounds like something that you would like to learn more about, please contact me either by phone or by email. Thank you very much, and I look forward to meeting with you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Mike Catherwood, one of the founding members of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI. I'm also the chair of the International Trade, Wholesale, Distribution, and Logistics Committee. During our committee meetings, we'll be sharing important content that will help companies in those industries achieve their growth goals. Aside from AVCCI, I work for Allianz Trade, the largest provider of trade credit in the world. Trade credit helps businesses in all industries feel comfortable with who they're extending credit to, eliminating the worry of, is someone going to pay? If your business is offering credit terms or considering doing so, please contact me to learn more. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tony Lucidi. I am the CEO and owner of Lucidi Technical Solutions, and I'm also a founding member of the AVCCI Tech, AI, and Cybersecurity for Business Committee. My company is basically a small consulting firm where I offer fractional CIO work. I help companies with their digital transformations into predominantly how to utilize the existing software they already have to help make improvements to their costs, make improvements to their processes, and really try to get them to utilize more efficiently the software they already have. Most small businesses, medium businesses, they don't have tech teams. They don't have a CIO. They may have an MSP or a vendor that can help them, but generally speaking, they don't have someone on staff that helps them with their technical decisions who has the experience that I have. I have over 35 years experience in technologies. Started with application development, website, mobile. Then I reached out into marketing. Then I branched out into business, and now I own my own company. I'm going to really highly recommend that you all join the Tech, AI, Cybersecurity, and Business Committee, because technology covers a multitude of industries. It's across the board. You can never go wrong by joining a technology committee that will help you basically determine and help you navigate the difficult natures of technologies. If you just look at AI in general, how many of you are trying to get AI implemented? What do you do? How do you do it? This is where this committee will come into play. I think it's a great committee, and I look forward to you joining us and becoming a member of AVCCI.
Hi, I'm Francis Borges, consulting partner with Era Group. I'm proud to be a founding member of AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I'm honored to serve as co-chair of the Manufacturing and Healthcare Committee. With 25 years of finance transformation and business consulting experience, working with Fortune 100 and 500 companies across manufacturing, healthcare, financial services, and other industries, I've had the privilege of driving hundreds of millions of dollars in annual savings in some of the world's largest organizations. But now I've deliberately pivoted to bring that same caliber of expertise to where I believe it's needed most, the mid-market. With Era Group, I partner with founders, CEOs, and CFOs of mid-sized businesses that face what most are dealing with right now: margin pressure, rising costs, supply chain disruptions, and an increasingly competitive landscape. We help them find hidden EBITDA in their overheads and vendor spend, unlocking savings that go straight to the bottom line to fund growth, improve cash flow, boost valuation, and protect the margins that keep them competitive. Well, the top three things that clients love most about us: we bring that deep category expertise and the resources that the mid market simply doesn't have access to. We do the heavy lifting, working as a seamless extension of their team to secure real savings. And we do all of this completely risk free. No upfront budget. We are rewarded only when we put money back in your pocket. Playing back to AVCCI, it's a powerful virtual community where business leaders can connect, collaborate, and grow their businesses together. Well, we are just getting started, and that's exactly why you want to be here right now. Come join us, be part of our great journey. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christy Brink, and I'm the owner of Lux Escapes by Christy, personal travel planning, and the co-chair of the Women in Business Committee. I'm a passionate traveler and work closely with my clients to plan personal, curated itineraries around the world. I research the best value, work with local experts around the world, and provide convenience and support so you can travel more and plan less. I am relationship driven, so it's important to me to get to know my clients so I can deliver the best travel experience with each trip. If Women in Business resonates with you, please join me as we work to provide education, inspiration, and support for all women that join. I look forward to getting to know you all. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm talking to you as a founding member of America's Virtual Chamber for Commerce and Industry. We are proud to be a founding member of this movement, and we're inviting you all to join in. Let me introduce myself. My name is Halil Aksu. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Digitopia, a global scale-up working on digital and AI transformation, reinventing consulting. We are helping organizations ranging from Unilever to Microsoft, from Intel to many other organizations in various industries, in various geographies. We are assessing their maturity, we're road mapping their digital and AI transformations, and we are helping them with all kinds of questions around AI implementation. As you know, AI is the most important and most influential technology of our days. This change is unprecedented. Every industry, every business is affected and must harness the opportunities AI is bringing. So for any questions around AI and the transformation within your organizations, we are the right partner to talk to. We helped hundreds of customers around the world, and we're happy to helping you as well. Looking forward. Thank you very much.
Hi, it's Neil Abruzzi, and I'm here to talk to you today about America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I am proud to be the head of the Technology for Business Committee, where through the Commerce we intend to bring usable technology information to the membership. Something not far-reaching, but something that you can use in your business, hopefully that very day. I'm 35 years running EDI Options. We're here a company for making connections between retailers and vendors. We provide connectivity services, integration services, data handling services, and all kinds of different commerce consulting. So come on and join us at the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce. You're going to love it here, and I look forward to working with you going forward.
Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you like to sponsor ABP, if you like to advertise in our podcast episodes, please send us an email. growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can advertise your company, your products, your services, and your brands in the American Business Podcast. Please send us an email. growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn more about the American Business Podcast as well as our coming streaming schedule. Now you can have your branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We call it Business Podcasting as a Service, PaaS. If you're interested in starting your business podcast in the American Business Podcast Network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. As part of our international expansion, we started international podcast editions. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page. And please go to the podcast section in our YouTube page and you'll see our international podcast editions. They are ABP Espanol, ABP German, ABP French, ABP Hindi, ABP Portuguese, and ABP Turk, that you can listen to American Business Podcast in 6 different foreign languages. Okay, well, we are in the process of increasing our presence in social media. If you're on LinkedIn, please scan this QR code and subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. If you're on TikTok, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our TikTok page. Please subscribe. Please follow us. If you are on Instagram, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Instagram page and please subscribe. If you are on Facebook, we'll also appreciate your help and support. Please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page and please follow us. And finally, we are on IMDb next to other reputable media productions. Please scan this QR code, go to our IMDb page, and please rate us on IMDb. We'll truly appreciate your help and support. I'd like to thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in coming the American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast, America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. Thank you very much for your help and looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.